Jesus says, "Come unto me, all you who are weary and heavily burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from you, for I am gentle and lowly in heart." When you take the yoke of God in your life, He's going to invite you to get up and go on different roads, different paths. And today we're going to be going down south. We're going to be going to New Orleans, and then we're going to Dulac, Louisiana, where we're going to imagine what it would be like to be a fishing guide for a day. Then we're going to conclude with going to Row Kids and seeing their ministry as they go around the world and ministering to children, not only in elementary schools and high schools, but then college as they find jobs. So stick around. We look forward to sharing these stories with you on The Road in Between.
Thoughts keep running through my head as I walk this road with nothing ahead. The sun beams down on my face as I walk this road that leads to amazing grace.
The Road in Between with Tom Sykes is sponsored by John O'Neill Johnson Toyota, CRM Companies, Archer Architecture, Mitchell Signs and Imprints, Glass Incorporated, Benefits Management Group.
Here's Tom Sykes with a Hush in the Rush moment.
There are many stories in the Bible about water. The world was completely water at the very beginning in the book of Genesis, and God hovered over the waters and created by speaking the words, "Let there be light, let there be land, let there be plants and animals and fish." And today we've been out on the waters down here in Dulac, Louisiana, and it reminds me of many biblical examples. When Israel came through the Exodus, they had to go through the waters of the Red Sea. It also reminds me of Jesus living in Capernaum. He chose to live right by the waters, and everybody loves to live by the waters. In fact, if you look at the map of the United States, you'll see an incredible migration of people and families that have come to the coastal areas. I'm also reminded of the importance of water. We all need to have a lot of water during the day to survive. We can live longer without food than we can without water. And lastly, I'm reminded of the fact that we come through the birth waters of life, and the same is true with baptism. And we go through the baptismal waters of death into a new life and a new resurrection. So God created the waters, and we use those waters today. And one day we'll meet the one who walked on water. He can do all things. We'd love for you to come to meet Jesus Christ, come to know Him, and come to experience Him in your personal life. This is Tom Sykes for another Hush in the Rush moment on The Road in Between. We are heading down to the Big Easy, New Orleans, the beautiful trolleys, the beautiful places. And we're going with Mike Giles and Mitch Mosley, ready to go down into Dulac to do some red fishing. We are here at Sea Creatures Charters, and we are grateful to be with the Trosclairs, to Clark and Angie. Thank you for having us here tonight with Bob Gabriel's camp, and we're most thankful for you being with us on the Road in Between. We have been friends for a while through Mitch
Quite a
Mosley.
while.
We're glad to be with you tonight. You cooked us some phenomenal gumbo. What all was in that gumbo tonight?
Duck and goose and deer sausage. I mean, it was a lot of wildlife up in there.
A lot of wildlife. Well, you certainly share that well, and we thank you for that. This part of the country down here in Dulac is a little bit of the gumbo life. It seems to have a lot of different traditions, different cultures. This is a unique culture down here. What's it like to grow up here, be from here, and to stay here?
It's pretty good. I mean, we live on the water, we live off the water, and everything we catch here, we eat. I mean, it's just, and we love to be able to share it with good friends.
You certainly do. You're wonderful at sharing, and we thank you for that. Well, I know through the years you've dealt with changes in the economy.
Yes.
and you've also dealt with hurricanes and Hurricane Katrina. Kind of walk us through that and how you know, this is a show about being in between and that sense of the ebbs and flows of life.
Well, Katrina didn't affect us a whole lot, but Rita did right afterwards. We had a north wind for Katrina because it went in east of us, and Rita gave us 5 foot 10 inches of water here. So we had a lot to deal with, a lot of mud, a lot of water afterwards, and but we had great customers, and you know they've come back and helped us out. They always called and checked if we needed anything, and we were grateful for it. But it's just we had good people, good friends throughout the years, and that helped us out all through it all.
Well, what kind of fishing do you like to do? You offer here?
Anything holding a rod and reel. I mean, it's just, if it has a tail and pulls on my string, I like to catch it.
That's great. Well, we caught some big redfish, big bulls, and we've going to try and catch some specks.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, and I know you go out also to the oil rigs and
yeah, we do a lot of offshore fishing also. Amberjack, snapper, tuna. Cobia. I always say if it has a tail, we'll catch it.
All right. Well, once you're on that boat, I know how we've become friends through it, and fishing has brought us together, and that's what I value out of what you offer, and that it's just more than a job. You do develop friendships and relationships that come out of that, and I know your faith is a big part of that. Growing up in the Catholic Church here,
yeah,
and share with us a little bit about that where you go and how that's kind of helped you.
We are parishioners at Holy Family Catholic Church right here in Dulac. I taught catechism for 15 years, all through my children's school years. I really enjoyed that. As far as helping us through the years, it helps us stay grounded as a family. And it helps us to appreciate everything that God has given us through the years. And I think Clark would agree with me.
Absolutely.
Well, I know y'all been strong in the faith with the youth group. You know, we've
Yes.
talked a good bit about.
Yeah.
You know, that's really where your passion seems to lie. Is man, how will we keep these young people grounded and then also fired up to be part of the Christian journey? And y'all been part of the youth retreats,
Oh yeah.
youth lock-ins.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. We've done all kinds of Christian retreats with all the kids in our parish. Now that our kids have grown up and started moving away to go to colleges, it's a little tougher for us to do that. And we've been kind of busy, but we missed it every time there's another, a retreat going on. And I wish we still had some young ones to keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big part of it. I mean, you know, we miss that part.
You miss your children, I know.
Yes.
Yeah. The empty nest piece is part of this because they have been a part of this whole journey you've been on.
Absolutely.
Of your business, and now that it's back to the two of you that it is different. And a number of us are going through the same thing with our own families, and we're recognizing, wow, we really miss them. It's just a different season of life. But we thank you for letting us be part of this and part of your lives, and it means a lot to us.
And we enjoy having you every chance we get.
Well, great. We do recommend you coming down to see Creature Charters. Come down to Dulac, Louisiana, just past Homa, and come down through New Orleans and enjoy a good time there, and then come and be with the Trosclairs. So we thank you for letting us be with you tonight, and thank you to Bob Gabriel and for his wonderful camp here. We're grateful for you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
The Road in Between with Tom Sykes is sponsored by John O'Neill Johnson Toyota, CRM Companies, Archer Architecture, Mitchell Signs and Imprints, Glass Incorporated, Benefits Management Group.
Hello, I'm Neil Johnson with John O'Neill Johnson Motor Company. We offer Toyota, we offer Hyundai, BMW, and Mazda.
You can take them beyond the road and go out and have an adventure. You can go hunting, you can go fishing, kayaking, bicycling, take them all out on the road in between.
Some of the great ones for that, Tom, are the Toyota Tundra, Toyota Tacoma, Toyota 4Runner, Land Cruiser is another good one, the Toyota Sequoia. They're great for the outdoors.
You come by and see them.
John O'Neill Johnson Motor Company, a name you can trust, products you can depend on.
In today's world where most businesses and corporations' main mission is to simply make profit, CRM Companies differs itself by focusing on being successful in a way that also promotes growth and prosperity in the community. CRM Companies isn't simply a commercial development and management company. They create opportunities, they create jobs, they maximize the potential for growth and development of a better community, all while still providing great services and outstanding customer relations. Learn more about CRM Companies and their mission today. Visit crmco.com. We're back with The Road in Between with Tom Sykes.
We've been doing it for 25, 30 years. Took my first guide trip with 3 guys from Monroe, Louisiana when I was 12, just to go fishing. I just hopped in the boat with them, took them out, caught a bunch of boatload of speckled trout, came back in, and then every time they came down after that, they wanted me to go fishing with them. So just kind of progressed from there.
How did you know to stop out here at all this vast ocean here, and you stop right here and we start catching fish?
When the tide comes in, it goes around that way. When the tide falls, it comes back around the opposite direction, and you can sit right here and get the tidal movement. It don't have to necessarily be either or. As long as we have moving tides, we can generally catch them. The only time it gets tough is during flat tide, and it's crazy because sometimes one tide you'll get all redfish, sometimes you'll get all black drum, and then you can come back the next day, same place, and they'll be mixed up like they are today. That's a good way to catch them when they're mixed up, because then you get a little bit of everything.
What's the difference between the black and the red as far as eating?
Not a whole lot of difference. A black drum's a black drum. Redfish is a red drum. So I mean, the only difference is the thickness of the fillet. The black drum you get less meat off of. Truthfully, I mean, I'd rather eat the black drum than the redfish, but that's only because it's less work. I don't have to cut it as thin to make it the way I want it. It's all about preparation and not overcooking, and I'm not that big a fan of a thick piece of fish, unless if it's grouper or something like that.
What's it like when you bring somebody out for the very first time and they've never experienced this?
It's pretty cool. I mean, watching the expressions and rewarding. The smiles when you put that fish in the boat and they realize how big it was. It makes your job worth doing, worth getting up in the morning.
When a handicapped child catches a fish, tell me how that goes.
We tend to whatever it takes for them to catch the fish. If they're wheelchair bound, we take control of the wheelchair and roll them as much as we can around the boat, and which we only have about 12 feet of boat to be able to play with that. But I mean, yeah, we do whatever it takes to make sure they catch it and be able to get their picture with it, man. I tell you, like I said, the smiles on the faces, man, it's good, very rewarding. It's a good trip. It's a good trip. I had a guy and his wife and his 2 daughters last year, and one of the daughters was scheduled to go to Cancun, and she decided to back out of the Cancun trip to come back down here.
As far as storms, getting caught up in a storm, or seeing that storm coming up and maybe it comes up on you pretty fast. Have you ever been out here and had to endure it with a client?
Oh yeah, a lot of times, especially when we're coming in from offshore. When you're coming in from 60, 70 miles out, I mean, there's not a whole lot you can do. I mean, when it's there, And most of the time in the afternoons during the summer months, they get so big that there's no running around them, so you have to hunker down and run right through it. A lot of lightning. It can get a little hairy sometimes. But so far, knock on wood, we made it through without getting lit up.
You know that story in the Bible where Jesus is asleep in the bottom of the boat in the middle of a big old storm, and nobody wanted to wake him up. They didn't want to wake up the man, Finally, they were scared to death, and they had to go wake him up. They probably drew straws about who was going to have to go wake up Jesus. And, he wakes up and he stills the storm. And he says, what were you so worried about? I was right here in the boat with you, But I know your faith and your fishing go right together. I know there's a lot of praying, too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, when you get in them bad lightning storms, it's always good to know the big guy's there with you. No, you don't. This is mine.
Do it, Clark. So Clark, tell us, how do you bring in a redfish? How do you do that? What do you recommend?
When they take drag, you let them run with it. But it's just a matter of pulling the rod up and then crank it down towards it, make it easier to reel. Mike, you didn't want to catch that one anyhow.
Nice. Way to go, Clark.
All right. That little black drum.
That's good eating right there.
Fishing with good friends. South Louisiana.
Here's Tom Sykes with a Hush in the Rush moment.
There's a great story of Jesus as he's walking along the shores of Galilee, and he is trying to share the Word of God, but all these people are pressing in on him. And so he looks over and he sees a boat, and he steps into the boat, and then he asks the owner, Simon, if he can push away from the shore and he could use that to be part of the ministry. Simon says absolutely, so he does that. When he gets through, Jesus says, how about this, Simon, why don't we go out into the deep waters now, and I want you to lower your nets and let's catch some fish. And Simon says, look, Jesus, I've done that all night, didn't catch a single thing, but if you say so, I'm going to do that. And so sure enough, that's what happened. And as he lowered the nets, guess what happened? Jesus enabled the fish to come up into that net, and they filled up not one boat, but they filled up 2 boats. So what's the lesson in that? Jesus goes to everybody's business and would like to use the business for ministry. You think of that as you look at your vocation, your calling, whether it be as a teacher, as a physician, as a nurse, or a small business owner, or whatever it is, God is ready to come into your place of business and do great things. He can take emptiness and He can make fullness. This is Tom Sykes for another Hush in the Rush moment on the road in between. Have you ever been on a mission trip? If you've never been on one, consider Row Kids with John Eve. He is a real estate agent in Hilton Head, South Carolina, and he has caught the vision to go around the world and share hope and inspiration with children, especially focused on Belize and Honduras and Jamaica. John created Row Kids to not only care for the children and their immediate needs, but to help get them through school and to get them a job and give them a bright future.
Our world is full of forgotten children, lack of education, lack of safe drinking water, and lack of love. A generation without hope because of political corruption, violence, and lack of opportunity. The cause of lack of opportunity is the school systems. Schools with one math book, one English book per classroom, not per student. 5 or 6 children sharing the same stub of a pencil. No paper to write on, no books to read. Unqualified teachers, crowded classrooms, and the cycle of poverty continues. In developing and third world countries, school is only provided through primary school. For a child to go on to secondary school, they must pay for it themselves, often more than what the entire family makes in a year. In these communities, the basic essential of clean drinking water is not available. Because of the unsafe water, waterborne illnesses is a way of life. Children are sick and even dying. Through the school system, Row Kids is able to bring hope. We do this by supplying all the children with textbooks, reading books, starting libraries, providing the school supplies they need, and even tuition to the secondary school once they've graduated from primary. Through Row Kids' child sponsorship program, you can sponsor a child in secondary school and help break the cycle of poverty. Even though cooking conditions are not ideal, through Row Kids' safe water projects, we can build and provide safe drinking water to an entire community. Because of these programs, we get the opportunity to share the good news of Jesus Christ in the classroom and in the community. Through Row Kids, God is using the youth and adults to share the good news and to restore hope to this generation. God has called Row Kids to clothe those who are unclothed, to go places where few are willing to go, to love those who are unloved, to bring hope to a hopeless generation, to break the chains of poverty, and to bring the message of Jesus Christ to this lost and hurting world. Come with Row Kids on this mission and help us change lives.
The Road in Between with Tom Sykes is sponsored by John O'Neill Johnson Toyota, CRM Companies, Archer Architecture, Mitchell Signs and Imprints, Glass Incorporated, Benefits Management Group. Stick around. The Road in Between will be right back.
Hello, I'm Neil Johnson with John O'Neill Johnson Motor Company. We offer Toyota, we offer Hyundai, BMW, and Mazda.
You can take them beyond the road and go out and have an adventure. You can go hunting, you can go fishing, kayaking, bicycling, take them all out on the road in between.
Some of the great ones for that, Tom, are the Toyota Tundra, Toyota Tacoma, Toyota 4Runner, Land Cruiser is another good one, the Toyota Sequoia. They're great for the outdoors.
You come by and see them.
John O'Neill Johnson Motor Company, a name you can trust, products you can depend on.
In today's world where most businesses and corporations' main mission is to simply make profit, CRM Companies differs itself by focusing on being successful in a way that also promotes growth and prosperity in the community. CRM Companies isn't simply a commercial development and management company. They create opportunities, they create jobs, they maximize the potential for growth and development of a better community, all while still providing great services and outstanding customer relations. Learn more about CRM Companies and their mission today. Visit crmco.com. We're back with The Road in Between with Tom Sykes.
Here's Tom Sykes with a Hush in the Rush moment.
We all know the Psalm 23, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me to lie down in green pastures. But many times we forget that He also leads us beside the still waters. And we all need the still waters in this rapid world that we live in. We call that Sabbath. Everybody needs a Sabbath. We need to renew our rhythms of life. There's a time to breathe in, there's a time to breathe out, and there's a time to rest. And God rested on the seventh day, and He said for us to remember the Sabbath and what? Keep it holy. So I would ask you, where is it that you find your stillness? Where is it that you go reflect and remember and rejoice and know that life is gift? Well, it's this place right here for me, and I love to fly fish for brim here in Mississippi. And it just reminds me of the quietness and the simplicity of life and the chance to remember that God is looking over us and He brings us hope. There's another word that's called Selah, which means holy pause. It's in the book of Psalms, and you'll see it in the middle of a psalm, and what it means is rest. It's kind of like when you're with an orchestra. Not everybody plays at the same time. Some rest, and then they come in and play later, but it doesn't mean that they're not part of the symphony. And so I invite you to think about your rest and see it as holy rest. It's Selah, a holy pause. This is Tom Sykes for another Hush in the Rush moment on the road in between.
Hi, I'm Mike Reinsel with Rivers of the World. I am here in Batey 106 in the Dominican Republic. It's a tough place. As you look around here, there are tough people and it's a tough place to live. Row is coming and doing educational initiatives, agricultural things. We are working with the local people to transform their lives from extreme poverty to self-sustainability, and you can be a part of that. So I want you to come here, work alongside Row, work alongside the people that we work with, and have a transformational difference in the lives of the people here. We are Row, ROW.org.
John 6, 18 to 21. A strong wind was blowing, and the waters grew rough. When they had rowed 3 or 3.5 miles, they saw Jesus approaching the boat, walking on the water. They were terrified, but he said to them, "It is I, don't be afraid." Then they were willing to take him on the boat. And immediately the boat reached the shore where they were heading.
Gone fishing. We have gone fishing. We've been down in Dulac, Louisiana. We've been with the Triclayers, Sea Creature Charters. Great time. Caught a lot of fish, big fish. And it was a windy day, and still Clark put us on the fish. So we're thankful for him. We'd love for you to come down to Sea Creature Charters and be with them and share in what they do for a living. We're grateful for them opening up their place, sharing the gumbo, and being with us. So thank you again for them. So thank you for watching, especially on the road in between. Today, the waters, as we're out between the shores and out into the marshes. Thank you.
The Road in Between would also like to thank these fine sponsors. Closed captioning is brought to you by BMG, Benefits Management Group.
Thoughts keep running through my head as I walk this road with nothing ahead. The sun beams down on my face as I walk this road that leads to amazing grace.